Should investors worry about free money from the government? I'm talking about the freebies being doled out by governments all over the world. And the latest to join the party is the Maharashtra government in India, which has introduced its own form of Khatakhat scheme, which was proposed by Rahul Gandhi, who was the opposition leader, ironically. But the Khatakhat scheme in Maharashtra is going to be implemented by BJP and its allies. Welcome to the State of the Market report. Today, I'm going to cover details about the Khatakhat scheme in Maharashtra, and we will cover the impact of freebies on various aspects, including the economy and what can you expect to happen going forward because of freebies, because this is going to be a defining feature for all governments from here on. Every government that comes in power, not just in India but anywhere, is going to offer freebies, and obviously there is going to impact on various aspects of your life. And I'll be trying to give you my perspective on what one can expect to happen going forward. I'll also cover the outlook on Indian Nifty, Bitcoin, gold, silver, and also S&P, Dow, and Nasdaq. Let's start with a quote from Thomas Sowell. As long as millions of Americans vote on the basis of who gives them free stuff, look for their freedom and all our freedom to be eroded away bit by bit. He's talking about the American voter, but this is pretty much true for any voter anywhere in the world, including Indian voters, who are going to vote on the basis of who is giving them free stuff. This is the highlight from the Maharashtra budget, which was presented last week. The farmers got the electricity bill dues waived off, they'll also get free electricity. The women will get free LPG cylinders. I think it's 3 free LPG cylinders if I'm not wrong. And they will also be getting 1500 rupees per month for free as part of the Ladli Yojana. Apart from that, youth will be offered rupees 10,000 per month for skill development. I'm not sure of the details of this. I'm not even sure who will be classified as youth, because in our country there are 50-year-old leaders who are called youth leaders. So will 60-year-old be also be considered as youth for this scheme? And how will this scheme work? I don't know. But 10,000 month will be doled out for free in the name of skill development. So what will be the impact of freebies on any country and on our country in the context of what the Maharashtra government has done? Right now, the figures, for example, the 1500 rupees per month to women is not a big figure. But to give you a perspective, this 1500 rupees per month, which the Maharashtra government has offered, is approximately 7% of their state budget. And the thing with freebies, as you know, is that freebies are never withdrawn, they're only increased. So if this 1500 is increased to say 8,000 or 9,000 rupees per month, as was promised by the opposition leader, by the way, then it would amount to almost 40% of the budget. And so whatever impact you see today might change in the future based on the quantum of free money offered by whoever is in power. But one thing is clear, that no political party will be able to be in power without offering free money, and that has huge implications for everyone. The first impact, according to me, will be on consumption. The consumption, when the amount offered is small, will affect FMCG consumption. And as this quantum increases, you will see that consumption of durable goods like mobile phones will go up. Don't be surprised if you see a company like Apple benefiting from this free money that is being offered by the government at some point of time. Not today. 1500 rupees won't impact Apple sales today, but let's say if it is increased to 5,000 or 10,000 rupees, you will see companies like Apple benefiting from these policies. if certain checks and balances are not in place. When all political parties are offering freebies, you should be sure that they are very certain that they won't be able to offer employment to the youth of the country, which is why these schemes are, which means a part of this money will go into alcohol consumption and drugs, of course. All kinds of addictions will benefit from these schemes. And because the government of the day is certain that it won't be able to provide job opportunities, you can be sure that the youth will get a message eventually that only way for them to make money is through gambling. So all kinds of gambling activities you can expect to prosper. And already we are seeing this happening in the Indian stock markets, where F&O activity, especially weekly options, trading in weekly options, is at all-time high. This kind of gambling and other different kinds of gambling activities will also go up. And the impact of lack of opportunities will also be seen in employment, where there will be lower participation rate because young people will be fed up of looking for work, and so they would stop looking for work and instead be occupied with their different addictions and gambling. And already you see that a lot of entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs especially, who run industries, they complain about lack of labor, that labor is not willing to work, and if the labor comes to work, it is not productive. This is going to increase, this is going to impact wages. You will need to pay higher wages to get someone to work. So there will be lower employment combined with higher wages, which has already manifested, and this is only going to increase. The impact of this will be seen in lower supply of goods, even agricultural produce, because you see on one hand there are farmers committing suicide because they're not getting suitable price for the produce, and on the other hand the average consumer is seeing higher inflation of food products. Today the food product inflation is a bigger problem than other sorts of inflation. And finally you will see an impact on the fiscal and monetary front, where you will see that the government will have a higher debt burden as politicians realize that their only option to retain power is through freebies. They will offer it at any cost, and this would lead to higher debt burden and currency debasement, where currency printing will be part of policy that has always been a part of policy anyway. So the currency debasement will happen at a rapid rate. The money in your hand will reduce drastically over a short period of time. So all these are related, and this is the overall impact that I am expecting because of freebie politics that is going to continue for the foreseeable future. Now we'll move to what to expect from markets, and before that, here's the disclaimer. My name is Yashut Mani and I'm an AMFI registered mutual fund advisor and educator. Please do your own research and consult a financial advisor for all your investing decisions. All views expressed here are general commentary and is not meant to be an investment advice. Let's start with Nifty. We saw the Nifty rally from 23,500 to over 24,000. The support level for the Nifty has moved up to 23,350, and the important resistance now is around 24,400. Our long-term pattern targets are around 25,274. Although I would like to show you what has happened recently. We have completed a correction and moved higher. This correction is of similar magnitude to the correction here. So don't be surprised if you see a rally of similar magnitude manifesting here. And I know a lot of people will say, how can you say that the Nifty will keep moving up considering the political uncertainty in the country? But if you look at the political uncertainty, you can be sure that the current government would not want an election right now because of the various protests that are happening and negative news flow everywhere. And if they want to retain the power, they would try to ride through this phase and at least come up with a budget, a populist budget that can turn winds in their favor. So you can be sure they will try everything to stay in power. And given that, I don't think that for the next 6 months we should worry too much about a re-election or anything. And we should definitely expect some populist measures, both on the tax front and on the agricultural front, to turn the wave in government's favor. And considering that, I expect the market should continue to inch higher over the medium term. Next, we have the Bitcoin. Bitcoin saw mild selling, but it took an important support around the 200-day moving average, which comes to around 58,136. As long as Bitcoin stays above this level, I think we can expect more upside over the medium term. The important resistance now is around 63,300, and the active pattern target will maintain around 145,823. Now, in the era of freebies, you can be sure that those commodities like Bitcoin, which have limited supply, commodities like gold, will continue to do well because of currency debasement and because of free money being doled out by governments everywhere. So assets like Bitcoin and gold, which I'm going to cover in the next slide, they are your best friends as an investor in this era of freebie politics. Next, let's look at gold. It's currently trading around 23.26. I think it's trying to form a base here. The important support is around 22.56. And once the base is complete for this commodity, I expect it to continue to rally in the foreseeable future, or at least in the medium term. The important resistance for this commodity is around 24.50. And there is currently an active pattern target, which is around 26.60. Next, we have silver, which is currently trading around 29.13. Now, silver consumption is expected to go up thanks to higher consumption of semiconductors, thanks to AI, thanks to power sector, thanks to higher focus on solar energy. So this commodity is going to benefit from those tailwinds as well. So important resistance for this commodity is around 32.51. Important support is around 27.7, and one can expect this commodity to rally as well. So silver, there is an active pattern target of around 38.79, and this commodity, silver, basically, I think will continue to do well. Next, we have the S&P 500. S&P 500 tried to inch up last week, but then there was a selling towards the end of the week. Obviously, there is going to be election in US as well very soon in November, and because of this, there will be some volatility. But overall, I think no government would want the markets to fall right before the election. And because of this also, and because technically also it looks like it can still continue to rally, although a pullback is always possible. And for that, the important support is around 5,300 and 5,174. Meanwhile, the important resistance is around 5,720. There is an active pattern target for S&P 500 as well, which is around 6,066. And while there are concerns that the participation of stocks is limited in this rally, I think a few stocks can always be used to keep the index up. This happens in India, and I think this can happen in case of S&P 500 as well. Next, we have the Dow Jones, which is also trying to form a base before rallying. I think the important support of around 38,430 would be important now, because the index tried to rally last week, and even though there was a selling, so now I'll be looking at this important support of 38,430, and let's see if this holds. And if this holds, I think we can continue to rally in the coming week as well. The important resistance is around 40,051, and there is currently an active pattern target of around 44,000 for Dow Jones that is in play. Then we have the Nasdaq, which is currently around 19,682. It had a similar price action as the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Index. The important support for Nasdaq is around 18,859. The important resistance is around 20,457. Meanwhile, the active pattern target is around 22,167. With this, we come to the end of this video. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends so that they can benefit from what I have shared here. Thank you for logging in.